And then we talk about Aer Lingus forced to cancel more flights today to and from Germany and the UK. Eoghan Corry is the editor of Air and Travel magazine. Eoghan, what's happening?
Good afternoon, Kieran. A little bit of a change in the cause today. Flights are being cancelled for a slightly different reason from what Aer Lingus called the system pressures in their statement yesterday. COVID absences, crew going sick, that's all what's really been dogging them a little bit since last weekend. But most of today's problems were caused by airports. Heathrow looked at their numbers, they're bursting at the seams, as are Dublin, and they said, airlines, you've got to reduce your schedules by a certain percentage. Aer Lingus is one of the bigger customers at Heathrow, so they lost 4 of the Heathrow flights today. British Airways lost also a Heathrow flight. It's interesting that the same policy's been implemented at some of the other airports, Schiphol, and we lost in Amsterdam a KL flight at 17:25 today, and also Charles de Gaulle, different problem there, a strike by the firefighters. Airlines were asked to reduce their schedules, and Air France had to cancel the 8:50 flight this morning. So while we've got 8 cancellations today, we have another one on the boards for tomorrow. It's a different set of pressures coming on today.
And how long are these pressures likely to persist? I mean, will there be more flights cancelled over the coming days, do you suspect?
I suspect cancellations are going to be there all through the summer. Aer Lingus will obviously have explained that COVID absences put their schedule under a little bit of pressure. But a lot of airlines have jumped early on this. Back in May, British Airways cancelled 10% of their entire schedule just on rostering. EasyJet lost 700 flights last weekend and have cancelled 10,000 going forward. So all of the airlines are looking at what they can deliver and seeing that they're going to fall short of it. And that is, are both of the Irish airlines, and the 2 Irish airlines that handle most of the traffic are Ryanair and Aer Lingus, seem to have managed to keep it going until now. Where the cancellations will kick in will probably again be external issues. Heathrow is likely to say again, cancel a few flights. Amsterdam has been doing it. We lost flights last week, all through the week through that. And there's also the possibility of further strikes with the industry stretch. The aviation industry is very heavily unionised. Trade unions across Europe on different issues have see the opportunity to make themselves heard, and that's probably going to cause more cancellations in weeks to come.
I think we've probably suitably terrified anybody who's flying out of Dublin Airport over the
It's a small number, Kieran.
I mean, where can people find out information about likely cancellations, or what are their rights? What happens if their flight is cancelled?
Cancellations would come in 3 types. There's a 2 weeks to go, a little bit of trimming of the schedules. Aer Lingus have done that. With the night before, you generally get told by an airport to cancel. That's what happened last night with the Heathrow flights. Everyone gets contacted by email and text and rescheduled where possible. Then the real problem one, and I did a tot today, 27% of the flights cancelled in the last week in Dublin Airport were within 6 hours. So that's a big problem one. Passengers are already at the airport. I suspect we'll see less of that going forward. And you've got to remember that there are 300 flights taking off and landing every day in Dublin Airport at the moment. So if you lose 8 of them, it's not a very high proportion. No consolation if you're on those flights. But in the greater scheme of things, the proportion of the schedule that's being lost through cancellations is not something to make people worry too much when they're going to the airport. It's the sort of thing that happens with weather events anyway. Thunderstorms are a big thing this time of the year, caused some of the cancellations last weekend, and it's the airlines' problem. It's not your problem. They have to reschedule, get you exactly where you're going. They're contracted to do so, and there is very clear rights under flightrights.ie under the EU 261 for goes from cups of coffee to compensation and overnights.
Eoghan Corry, editor of Air and Travel magazine. Eoghan, thanks a million.
Always a great pleasure, Kieran.
Here on the show now, the Green Party leader,